the story like this.
Send me an email and invite me. But I mean, I think you point to something interesting, which is that the union movement is crap about shouting about its success. We're good at hand wringing and talking about, oh, it's all difficult, and oh, there's these bad things that happen, and this is what the boss has done, and this is what the Tories have done, and we are constantly on the defensive. And there is a point at which we have to be, you know, when your terms and conditions are under attack, when your services are being closed down, when we're losing public services across the piece because of the things that these people are doing to us, obviously we have to be defensive about that and we have to fight them. But I think what that does is it means we only communicate about ourselves in one way. We don't talk about all the stuff that we've achieved. And, you know, I know exactly where you're coming from. I haven't worked in the trade union movement for very long. And before I started my career as a trade union official, I worked in local government in Hackney. So I was a unison steward before I did any of this business. And yeah, I've sat in meetings where men who were older than my father have cried about the pressure and the stress that they're under. And I think we have to be very honest about the difficulties that working people, particularly in the public sector, are facing at the moment. But we also have to talk about what happens when we come together and we can fight, because we can win. And we have had examples of success across the public and private sector, even in the climate that we're in at the moment. We just have to get better at telling each other about what we did, how we did it, and drawing those plans together, and standing in solidarity with each other, frankly, because, you know, you'll see these appeals on social media from, you know, come on my picket line, I'm da-da-da-da-da-da. And more often than not, most of us don't go, even though we are trade union members and we should be there. And one of the most inspiring things about the TGI dispute, actually, has been the solidarity that the McStrike people have shown from the Bakers Union. They've been on every single picket line. And these are young, precarious workers working in fast food. And if they can stand on picket lines, then why can't some of the rest of you? Do you know what I mean? And why can't some of the rest of us? We need to get better at recognising that we are a movement, not just a loose collection of individuals in different trade unions who, you know, occasionally come together at the TUC to have a bit of a row and then go home again, or a nice little walk through London once every couple of years. A movement requires us to stand together better than we are at the moment, and it requires us to talk about ourselves in a more positive way than just, oh, this is really terrible, you know, which we do far too much of.
I think to follow on with that, you talk about stress, and one of the most popular courses in any trade union education programme now is mental health awareness. And for the last 30 years, the number one concern of safety reps in the TUC survey is stress. The HSE, the Health and Safety Executive, have recognised this. They brought out the stress management standards. The government refused to recognise it. They bring in laws bashing trade unions when less than 500,000 days are lost per year because of strike action. But when 30 million days are lost per year because of stress and mental health, it ain't an issue. But, so I think it is an issue that needs tackling. The trade union movement are trying to tackle it. They're having it on education programmes. But I think also we need to stand together, because the only thing a bully understands is if everybody turns around to them and said, enough's enough, man. Because it's like, whether it's in the school playground or whether it's in the workplace, it shouldn't be tolerated. And I am sick and tired of hearing the word banter, because banter is a cover-all for bullying, harassment and everything else. So I ain't got time for that. But what I think we should be doing, it's up to us all, if somebody is being bullied in work, to say enough's enough, pick on us all. You want to have a go at somebody, have a go at me. You want to add anything to with that? Yeah. Peter, James, Peter.
Short question for the morning. Partly because of obviously, you and colleagues in your particular industry represent the future of the union, if the government to happen. What is it, in your experience, and make sure you have an answer as well, what is it stops young people, the likes of which you were before you strike, joining the union? Because until we answer that question, we're not going to grow. And the second maybe Dave, you want to come on this, is that what's been amazing about the Labour Party momentum is the way they've grown, and as Lee said, the biggest social democratic party in Europe. I can't understand, maybe it's been worked on at the TUC and the Labour Party, how that spirit of momentum and that growth can't be translated into a growth in the union. And the latest figures show that we've just lost 800,000 members since 1995. We're actually going backwards. But at one other level, Dave's right, the potential for the union movement now is better than it's been in 40 years. However, it's a very thin line. I'm sure you can answer that.
I think it's not being aware of. The only memory I have of a trade union or even the word union was when I wore a sticker that I found in my dad's closet that I wore to school. My teacher was like, "Why are you wearing that for a teachers' union?" That's the only memory I have of the union at all. So I think it's just not being aware of it. And if our union rep in our restaurant, Lauren, hadn't actively gone to find it and search for it, I don't think we'd have done anything other than complain or write emails to the CEO, to whoever else above us. So I think it's just awareness, and I don't know how you would get that across other than young people in the trade unions, and maybe we will make that a target to go out and allow other people who work in different restaurants know about it, just so that you may not have the same issue as us, as in your tips being taken away, but that you were aware that if you ever need help, there are unions there, and you can have some backup. So I think it's just being aware, because I didn't have any, I wouldn't think, to go to camp I have to go to a union whilst I'm at work.
Yeah.
I'd go to my parents if something happens at work.
Yeah.
So yes.
I just wanted to add in on that. Digital is not the answer. Digital is not the only answer, rather, but we have to get better at it. Like, you look at most unions' websites, you try and search stuff about workers' rights, and you won't find anything, because our search functions aren't good enough. The websites that we have on, aren't decent enough. I think we over fetishise social media. I saw the stuff that you did, and I think it's one of the rare examples we've got with the CW #RiseUp thing with the lion face. I think that's one of the few examples we've actually got of where unions have used social media well. I also think that, and I'm sorry to pick on you on this because Ian Lavery said it as well, but he's gone now. Can we stop talking about young workers as the future? She's leading a national dispute in a key sector of the economy. She ain't the future, she's the here and now. And when we talk about young people as though their time is coming, we're really patronising. And we also present ourselves as, we want young people in our movements, because if we don't have young people in our movements, we're going to die out. But young people aren't stupid. Young people recognise that a lot of the time, when we want to get them into our movements, we're doing it for reasons of self-interest, not in theirs. So we have to get better at talking to young people and about young people's issues in the language that they actually want us to talk to about, not, we're really big and important and you've got to join for your own protection, because it's meaningless. We have to understand what work looks like now for the overwhelming majority of young people, and not talk about it as though it's still the same as it was when lots of people who were older than me started their working lives. It's totally different, and we have to be totally different too.
Again, sorry, just to add on some more, Charlotte's right in that when companies or unions want to talk to young people, they change tactics in a way that is stereotypical. We're going to do this on social media, we're going to do it on Twitter, which is great and fine, but I'm very aware of what you're doing. I know that the reason you're doing this is just to talk to young people. I want to know what everything's about. I don't want to just have information that's directed just for young people, just so you can get me to join whatever you need me to join, because that is patronising. I'm a big girl. I can understand the grand scale of something, not the young social part of a particular sector that you want me to understand because you need numbers for something else.
I think the point you make about why has it not yet flown back the other way, i.e. Corbyn breaks through, Labour break through with young people, but trade unions maybe not. I think that's a cycle that we're going through. I think it will happen. I do believe that you've got to I agree completely with the point about we did this at the CW conference. We had a session where we had our young reps, and we didn't call it the future, we actually called it here and now.
Like ones
Here
what,
and-
something chronic.
here and now. You know, I think I said in my keynote address, you know, I don't want young representatives to be the leaders of tomorrow, I want them to be the leaders of today, and they are, and that's happening.
Yeah.
And I think you've got to, it takes a little bit of letting go as well. I've never been a fan of the bureaucracy of trade unions. It never interested me when I was young. It doesn't interest me now, and I'm the leader of the union. And I don't. You need rules. I'm not against rules. You've got to have some ground rules for everyone to operate within. But what I mean by that is let people do it themselves. Let them tell us what needs to be done. You know, I think that's important now, that you let young people and you support them. Let them find their level of activism. They're doing it. It's happening. Why is it happening? I think the world of work is so bad, and I think society has broken down. And you know, it really is a moment where rise up is the right phrase.
Yeah, it's good now.
And it's coming through, and we've got to be there to support it. I think you will see a change in the trade union. Momentum, you know, I mean, for all the stuff that's written about momentum, what I found interesting about momentum, the world transformed. Has anybody seen that? Another part of the Labour Party. These are interesting things. I get quite excited. I'd rather listen to that and see that taking shape than, frankly, a boring old trade union conference. We've got to think of different things now. And that's not patronising, that's about actually being ready to take things forward closer to where workers are and to build your organisations around that rather than old style bureaucracies. So it's time for change. These guys are going to help lead it. There is room for all of us though. I'm not a believer, and I'm glad you both said, I thought that was an interesting point. Bonnie said that, you know, it's not about how do we all sit there and we say, how do we get young people to be involved? And I think part of it is give them their head, let them do it. Let them tell us what the movement should look like, not us tell them. And that takes a bit of confidence, and it takes a little bit of stepping away and being there to support it. So, you know, it's time for different things. It's time for us all, though, to come together. Let's not fragment ourselves into this group or that group. And it's time for a plan. And the plan is a new deal for workers. Let's get out there and fight for it.
Thanks for that. Unfortunately, we're going to have to wrap up now because Charlotte's got to travel down to Eastbourne. Holly's got to get back to Milton Keynes, and Dave, I'm quite sure, has got to get back as well.
Yeah.
But I'd like to thank you all for your attendance this afternoon. I think it has been a very thought-provoking afternoon with some excellent contributions. And let's have it as the first of many. So thanks once again. We're now going to have a collection for the TGI workers at the back of the room. So thanks very much for attending. See you all soon.
That bag of leads is over there.
Which, over where?
I came up here at lunchtime.
Yeah, sorry,
Sorry.
I went down.
Sorry, not Marjorie. Sorry.
Lovely. Thank you. Right, okay.
You send it to the finance office in Hall and Street. So I'll give you my card.
Yeah, but
It's got the address on it.
I only... That's the mic lead. You don't need the mic. No, I don't want any of it. No. Apart from, I need a mic lead.
Well then, I'll tell you. Okay, so you want to...
Well, I don't know... actually, if there's one, if there's a mic link with a jack,
Yeah.
actually that would be the one I would want. I know XLR's better, but if you have any politics and XLR.
Yeah, nice to meet you.
Are you at the Parliament thing on Monday night? The TUC's 50th tomorrow? What I will make see then?
So yeah, oh no, these are mic leads. These are mic leads. So yeah, just a mic lead. Sorry, a mic lead with a jack. They're all mic leads.
Do you want it XLR to XLR? XLR to
XLR to jack.
Do you want it male or female?
Jack.
No, the XLR.
Oh,
Because you get male and so
female.
Yeah.
not that I appreciate those terms, but
Yeah, that's what we're stuck with.
yeah.
There's two.